is Two Birds in a Truck, and I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Birds in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Birds in a Truck time. We are into March 12th to be exact. And in full disclosure, we've been away for a couple weeks. So you heard my amazing voice and the sexy growl that I have for my voice. But we got a lot to talk about. We are in MAGA era, full swing, part 2. Twice as shitty as the first time. So we're going to jump into it. We're probably going to talk a little queerness. I'm going to talk, speaking of queerness, Pete Booty Call is thinking about running for president in 2028. And he hasn't made the first decision you need to do, like doing more presidential things. But he already has his eye on it. He's already talking about it. He's already positioned himself. He's thinking about running for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat. And he's probably going to take another shot at the presidency for a lot of reasons. For one, he's a white man. Even though he's gay, he also is a veteran. He's got a lot going for him. And he has an amazing family with Chase and all their kids. And I know people are going to fall in love with him. And I think between him and Governor Newsom from California, I think you're probably going to see those two guys be the front runners in 2028. I know that Harris won't run again. I don't expect in the 4 years after what happened in 2024, she's going to even want to do it. Who knows if she's even going to stay in politics? Hell, she may run for governor if Newsom steps out, as governor. Should be a great California governor. And honestly, I feel like Newsom probably will get the nomination. I think Pete will end up being the VP. And they'll go after either a third or fourth attempt for President Trump to, illegally run again if he's still alive and he's still kicking. Who knows? He'll be well into his 80s by then. Or President Vance, Sophia Loren. I can't even say President Vance. I can't even say where is JD Vance, by the way?
Eyeliner school.
It feels like, yeah, he probably is big old creep. Is he on the next season of RuPaul's Drag Race? Does anybody know? Does anybody know what the cast is for the spring? Because I think they probably already shot the show. Maybe he's on it. Maybe
he's. Yeah, who knows?
As a staging, that would be fabulous. I would totally support that because, his job's been taken by Sissy Spacek. So, pretty much, he doesn't really have anything to do. He might as well be on RuPaul's Drag Race. I would think he may even have an outside shot, a dark horse chance of winning. That would be super fabulous. But more about Pete. Speaking of other homosexuals, he's already leading a pack in candidates for the Michigan Senate seat. He has a very powerful case. He did really well as a transportation secretary. He's good on his feet. The guy can speak. The guy has very similar rope-a-dope type techniques like President Obama had. Which President Obama was probably one of the best orators in American presidential history. President Obama is just smooth. He could tell you you're stupid 5 different ways, and you would He uses such big words and he peppers it in with some real talk, and you thank him for telling you how stupid you are. That's how good he is. As he
You
dealt
think
with.
that's why he was hated so much?
Oh,
I
of
mean,
course.
not hated by America, but hated by the fringes, like the what we call MAGA now.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, because first of all, he used words that confuse them. Second of all, we know they don't own sources in their single watch. So they're like, I don't understand that. I can't even spell that word. And the Gomer Piles and the Chuckle Fox and the Magnus are sitting there scratching their asses and their heads probably at the same time, going, I just don't like him because he's black and he uses big $1 million words. And he's a fancy pants Ivy League trained lawyer that just took over America and scared all of those white folks because colored folks, they got it in for us because we've pounded them for 400 years. But we're shitbags, but we don't want them to know we're shitbags and that we hate them for absolutely no reason. And that's the problem with bigots, is that their ignorance is on full display. The biggest frustration point of bigotry is how ignorant they are. Because you got to be an idiot to be a bigot. To hate black and brown people, to hate gay people, to hate women, to be a misogynist, an Archie Bunker, I'm too stupid to know better, to be abusive to your wife, abusive to your children, is one of the most things that most decent people will never understand. 70% of North Carolina in 2016 supported the transgender community. Nobody wants all this bullshit. Nobody cares. I don't care who the president of the United States sleeps with at night. I don't even want to know about their sex life. I barely handle my own. Don't need to know about theirs. Don't have time. I don't have the bandwidth. And if they broke the law, let's say that the MAGAs were right about Biden, which they're not, but let's just say they were, the courts deal with that.
Exactly.
The prosecutor deals with that. But I don't need to know. I don't even want to think about Biden having sex. It's not that Jill Biden isn't attractive. I just don't want to think about my president stooping his wife or his husband. I don't want to think about Pete and Chasen getting it on in the White House. Not because I don't like gay sex. That's just the opposite. I love queer sex. I've been having it since I was 13 years old, and I'm 55 now. So the track record is there. 42 years of queerness. Those on the down low or up on the, on the high dive. But the point is, why are we obsessed with people's sex lives? Why do you want to know what your neighbor's doing? Just be a decent person and watch porn like the rest of us. If you want to think about people having sex, just watch them have sex. People get paid to do it. It's a performance art. They even have awards for it in Vegas. There's actually an award show for sex performers called the AVN, the Adult Video, whatever. They get little Oscar-looking things, in the whole 9 yards. I'm not belittling it. They are paid performers. They just happen to engage in sexuality. But how many people have sex in real movies? Grinding up on each other and kissing? I mean, I just think that sometimes in this country, and it's primarily in this country, other countries don't care. They don't care if the president's gay or trans or anything else. Most countries don't get obsessed about what people do in their privacy of their own homes. Just live your life, babe. Most cultures, especially modern and ancient cultures, could care less. It's not. It's a really American and Western Europe thing, especially the Brits and the Americans, where this Puritan, crazy ass mentality comes from, because it's a control technique. If I can tell people what to do in the bedroom, then I can control their lives. The same way we controlling food. We don't want to give out too many food stamps and benefits, because then the poor won't be hungry. They'll be harder to control, is what they think. But at some point, they're going to have a let them eat cake moment, and we'll choppy. The guillotines will break out. We'll have a French Revolution in America. And some of these people will get Luigi. Because for every Luigi, there's a Mario waiting in the wings going, I can do that better. He took out one, I can take out a bunch of them. And there's tons of veterans, well-trained veterans out there that wait till they lose their benefits. And they go, you know what? I've been through combat. There's a lot of things I would do. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a bunch of them out with me. I've had a good life. Some 50, 60-year-old grizzled veterans is going to do their boo thing that they did for 20 years in special ops or something. It's because you're going to push people. If you slash veterans benefits, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, there is going to be a tipping point. We've seen it in other countries. We've seen a little bit of it with January 6th. We saw a little bit of it in the American Revolution. We saw a little bit of that in the Civil War. It can happen in this country if we push people too hard. And it's the wrong thing to do to take away medical benefits. It's the wrong thing to take the price cap off prescription drugs. And we'll be right back with some more Two Careers in Truck right after these messages. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Careers in Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy ride. Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening to Two Careers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. But it's a massive mistake to confuse American kindness with weakness. In fact, I'll go a step further. That's a quick way not only to get a regime change, but to get a lot of people, a lot of bad situations, because 70% of Americans want progress. Just because a lot of them don't vote. Most people are progressive. Most people I talk to, if you care less, I'm trans. And for y'all that have never physically seen me, I am a transgender woman, genderqueer person. In a very open marital status with a woman. And, you know, I'm as queer as they get. And, I mean, we're queer. We got to do a show called Two Queers in a Truck. Okay. Just in case, spoiler alert, just in case you thought I was a good Christian, probably not. Probably don't want to invite me to your church. Got some particular things to say about that. But you know, it's one of these things that we worry about people's lives unless they're conservative. We care less what Trump does in his life. You know, he can say I can grab them by the bleep, and there's no consequence. Women still voted for him, which is wild to me. Wild to me that they could care less what Trump does in his personal life, but because Pete Buttigieg is married to a man, they're just flailing around. And of course, he goes on Fox News all the time. Pete loves going on Fox News. What I love about him is he will go on there relentlessly. And he owns Fox News. He lives in their heads, rant, flipping free. And they keep inviting him on, thinking they can trip him up. I'm like, no. Pete's going to go hard too. He's young. That man's got lots of years in politics, and what I love about him and Governor Newsom is the same way. These guys go on the unfriendly networks to them. They don't go just on CNN or some progressive talk show or just The View or something like that. They go on things where it's mouth-breathing MAGA Republicans that show no allegiance to Democrats or fairness, fair and balanced my ass. And Governor Newsom and Secretary Pete, verbal gymnastics, it just brings me great joy because they're brilliant, compassionate men. They're great leaders. They represent all, including the masses. They understand there has to be a balance to government and there should be fairness. But we can accomplish all that with the wealthiest nation on earth. There's nothing we can't accomplish when we work together. Lincoln said it best. Divided we fall. United we stand. That's what makes America actually great. Is in the darkest times like Pearl Harbor, when fascism and dictators were just spreading evil and death around the world, like the Black Plague. Roosevelt, wheelchair-bound Roosevelt, went to the mic like a real kind of thing and said, "It's going to be okay. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. We will not go gently into the night. We will rise up." And we did. And from December 7, 1941 on, in the next 4 years, we took care of business. We said, we're not going to let the road go into a dark abyss. We're not going to let Nazism and Japan imperialism and Mussolini rule the day. We're not going to fail the world or America and America's promise. And we didn't. We rolled up our sleeves, we got to work, and Rosie the River and all these heroes that were born out of that, we built, and the greatest generation came from that. Powerful people, powerhouses, actors, celebrities, and to put on a uniform and went to fly planes. Papa Bush, son of very wealthy people, got into a Navy plane and fought like a champ in the Pacific. He was a fucking American war hero. People forget that because they just saw him at the end of his life when he was old and crusted. But that guy, when he was a young man, Papa Bush was a badass and loved America. Loved America so much, he even got shot down twice. Got back up in the plane, kept fighting. Senator McCain, same way. Wouldn't leave his men behind in Vietnam, even though he had officer privilege and could have left pretty much any time. He endured the Hanoi Hilton for 5 years. And that's why he wouldn't do the race baiting and all the tactics that Republicans went into when he ran against Obama. He said, I'm going to do a fair fight, and I will fight to win, but I won't play dirty. And if Obama wins, Obama wins. But I'm going to do my damnedest to win, but I'm going to do it the right way. And he was one of the last great Republican candidates for president. Senator McCain was a lot of things. He was rough around the edges. He was a tough son of a bitch, too. Vietnam vet. And somebody that I admired, even as a Democrat, I admired his character. Something that the Republican Party is devoid of. They've gone past the lowest common denominator. They're the most un-American, unpatriotic bunch of chuckle fucks. You can wear red, white, and blue. I've got red, white, and blue sunglasses. I wear my gayness and my red, white, blue sunglasses, and I laugh about it because I confuse people. Because real patriotism, you can love your country, but you can question it. You can say, God, that doesn't sound right. and do something about it. That's the whole point of our checks and balances. That doesn't make you less patriotic because you question something. For fuck's sake, we should question some things the government do. I'm not going to rubber stamp every government program. There's a ton of defense spending that we should not do. Ton of it. There's a whole bunch of things we shouldn't do, and there's so many things we can do better. So I'm not about just write checks and don't pay attention to things. But what I'm going to say is we have to do better. Every political party has to do better. It's not a matter of doing that. Interesting, though. Interesting thing that happened to a Republican. Transphobic Representative Corey Mills from Florida. Go figure. We've never had a problematic House of Representative member from Florida. Matt Gaetz. Supported an anti-transgender bill, was caught beating up a woman in Washington, D.C. Go figure. You mean a transphobe assaulted a woman? Alleged. A bigot that's also abusive to women?
And he's married.
And he's probably married.
Yes, he's married. This is allegedly his mistress. It gets better.
Isn't that delicious? I hadn't scrolled down fast enough, but isn't that crazy?
Yeah, she's a 27-year-old alleged mistress that has been staying with him in his when he lives in D.C.
Oh boy!
Yeah, and
boy.
The DC police issued a warrant for his arrest, but the new federal prosecutor who Trump appointed won't sign it. So it's I think that's the scandal that is like the tip of the iceberg. It's
yeah. And these guys are going to work so hard to sweep this under the rug, and we want to see a Republican that's not going to be held accountable. Don't know if the Dems are going to do anything about it. Probably not. I don't know how much they could do. But this is why they wanted to take back government, because they don't want to be held accountable. Accountability for thee, but not for me. I don't want to pay my taxes because hell, nobody wants to pay taxes. Let's be real. Here's some real talk. Nobody wants to pay taxes. Nobody wakes up and goes, oh boy, send me a big old fat tax bill because I love paying taxes. And we're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck right after this. Hey y'all, this is Jetty with Two Queers in the Truck, and Christian's along with me. And we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it, and we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye y'all.
Bye y'all. Bye boo.
Bye boo. Hey everyone. Hey, thanks for listening for Two Queers in the Truck, and got an exciting new show coming on this year for our Canis Media listeners, which is basically the Coffee and the Two Queers show, including the one you're listening right now. We have a new one called Esperaz K, and it's with an exciting young host that we've had as a guest host in the previous years, named Urente, and he's really going to talk about the focus on young Latino and Hispanic community issues and challenges that come with being young and being Hispanic in America. And honestly, there's a lot of interesting topics. And of course, he has a perspective of a Gen Z person, which is way different than Christian and I. We're on the opposite end of life. But it's fun. It's fascinating. I know he's always been a great guest. I look forward to listening to his shows in 2025 as should you. I think it's going to be a special treat. It's like the Guns and Knives shows. We have guns and we have knives. So anyway, listen to our family of shows. We start dropping on Wednesdays at about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And we keep on dropping the shows until they're all dropped like Easter eggs.
Drop.
It is weird, though, that the Easter Bunny doesn't lay eggs. But anyway, hope y'all check out Urence's new show, as many of our other great new shows in 2025, plus our old standbys. And we'll rock out 2025. Thanks for listening, as always.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching the Two Queers in the Truck Show 2025 edition. We have a new special show that is coming on as part of the Canis Media family of shows, and it's the Tony Foreman Show. And they're going to talk about a little bit different things than we typically talk about on the coffee show or the queer show that we often reference. And it's going to be a little bit more of a serious show, a little bit more of talking about very specific issues amongst Latin, Latino men and Hispanic men. Tony Foreman is an Afro-Latino. And then I'm assuming that Christian's going to be on the show as well, which is a Latino male, a Tejano. And they're going to talk about things that are probably important to their generations, to what's going on in pop culture and where they fit in the world. And I guess that's always the existential question. Why am I here? But anyway, if you want to know why you're here and you whether you fit in that demographic or not, it should be interesting. I know Tony and Christian will keep it light and funny, and probably a little bit of silliness in there too, to boot. I'm looking forward to listening to it myself and not having to actually produce a show all the time. But please tune in at 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings when that show drops, and enjoy more shows from the Canis Media family in 2025. Thank y'all. But here's the truth. Here's some real talk. First of all, nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I don't want to pay taxes today. Or better yet, nobody wakes up and says, I'm dying to pay more taxes. Get out my checkbook, get out my debit card. I need to double my tax bill. Fuck it. I'm going to send the government extra money. So I don't think the roads look good enough. I'm going to scratch them with that check for $1,000. That should fix the potholes, at the very least. How many potholes can you fill for $1,000? Probably 2. And nobody does that. Nobody wants to pay taxes, but we want all the benefits. So the reality is that's why taxes are mandatory. You don't come up to a shop and say, there's not a little screen that says, do you want to pay sales tax on this or not? Because we would always say fucking no. Our IRS sends us a bill if we owe taxes. Nobody says, make that a double. I know I owe $3,000, but fuck, I feel like paying $6,000 this time around. And put some stank on it. There's a tip for you too. Nobody does that. Nobody wants to pay taxes. But we also need the infrastructure and the benefits because we're a massive country. And every country in the world that has infrastructure, the government does the infrastructure that private enterprise shouldn't do. They shouldn't have the burden to do. So we all pay our share. And if we all pay our fair share, everything runs swimmingly. We don't have any budget deficits. We go on. Because government is just a service. It's not a profit center. It's not like a business. It's not like a business that I co-own with my business partner where we need to turn a profit. It's just the opposite. We need to have an idea. Government is just like any service. It does not, it's just service. Whether it's the military, how the military is called the service. All of our government programs, all services, are not meant to turn a profit. They could sometimes maybe be more efficient, but they also cover a wide range of things, like the transportation department of the United States government covers a lot of ground, pays for a lot of shit, just like the education department pays for a lot of college educations, a lot of meals for Title I kids and Title I school districts There's a ton of stuff government does to keep people alive, keep Americans sustained. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, I can go on and on and on. Guaranteeing clean drinking water, clean air. Like, this just doesn't happen by accident, and companies left to their own devices won't comply. Billionaires try to find all kinds of different ways not to pay taxes, even though they make shit tons of money and can afford to pay taxes. They can afford to pay taxes more than a poor person can, because your propensity to spend goes down as a percentage as you make more money. If you make $1 billion a year, you cannot, it is impossible to spend $1 billion in personal expenses. You cannot do it. There was a movie a long time ago called Brewster's Millions by Richard Pryor. And he inherited like $40 million or some shit like that. He tried to go out and spend every dime. He couldn't. That was $40 million years ago, when $40 million was a lot of money. Still kind of is. But $1 billion is impossible to spend. So that means these billionaires can afford to pay taxes. They may spend 1% of their income tops annually. Because 1% of their income is $10 million. I did that math in my head. $10 million a year. Some of them probably don't live. They probably spend maybe 10 to 20 to $30 million a year, depending on what houses they buy, how many Lambos they buy. But at some point, they lose that. They can't spend anymore. That's why so many billionaires, like Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Kinsey, has the Kinsey Foundation. Kinsey Bezos Foundation, where she's giving away the billions, and she got a divorce settlement, which was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Not only is she donating to a lot of LGBT nonprofits, which I think is fucking funny, but the Rocket Boy had to give half his money to her because she earned it. She put up with him. She put up with that dickhead, and I love it. It's one of the few shit sandwiches I've seen a billionaire eat in a long time. I think it's fabulous. But it's interesting. Trump administration allegedly invited January 6th rioters to sing at the Kennedy Center after banning a gay men's choir. Yes, I said that right. January 6th rioters were invited to sing at the Kennedy Center after banning a gay men's choir. And even if it's just rumors, it's believable. And it probably isn't a rumor. It's probably once it broke, they probably went, holy shit. That got out, we're in trouble. Like that wouldn't get out. That they banned a gay men's choir on January 6th, rioters participating. Instead of being in prison, they're participating at the Kennedy Center. Also, Steve Bannon, awesome, has been caught finishing one of his speeches at CPAC with a Nazi salute too. Old sloppy Bannon. Looks like he just woke up on a park bench every day. God, he looks always disheveled. He's a dude. Like, I don't make his. Some people, he makes enough money, and he stole enough money from that wall. That $5 billion. Nobody's really accounted for that shit. And he didn't go to prison. You know, I sold $5 billion from a scam wall fund. The dumbass magnets no day too. They would throw me under the prison. They would drop another prison on top of that prison while I'm underneath the first prison. They would bury somebody like me. Because damn, I could use $5 billion. I don't know about y'all. I could live on 10% of that pretty easily. 500 million, that would hit the spot. I could do a lot of damage with 500 million. And I would do better than Trump did when he inherited $400 million from his trust fund. He squandered all of it. I wouldn't squander it. I would invest it. I would build businesses, and I would employ queer people like I'm doing right now. But I sure as shit wouldn't blow into all that money. I'm not a trust fund. But wow. It's just wild. This whole fucking crazy ass. And Steve Bannon was kind of at the heart of these rumors too, by the way. I think Steve Bannon is quietly working against the Trump administration, but he doesn't like sissy SpaceX, doesn't trust him, doesn't want him in government, even though he's just as problematic as sissy SpaceX. It's fun to see him go after the new Trump appointees. It's interesting to see, and I've said this before, and I said back in 2019, Trump's undoing is going to be other Republicans. Because when the bridges start to burn and people start to come for them, these other Republicans are going to scratch their head and go, I need to put down my Stop Masturbation app and I need to concentrate on my job. And I think people like the Speaker of the House that has a creepy relationship with his son, very inappropriate relationship with his son, speaking of pedophiles, super, super creepy.
Why don't you think they advertise that more, Jen?
Why the Democrats don't?
Mm-hmm. That is creepy.
No, it's super creepy. Like it needs to be. That just needs to be on loop. I don't even care if it's political season. I just run that ad. Just run that ad on different networks to spread the wealth. It just don't let that go. Shame him into stepping down. Hurt them where it hurts the most. And come for them. And I'll tell you, that kind of stuff, that's a way of fighting where you don't have to worry about doing a policy fight. We're not going to win on policy because we don't have any control. We don't have any say. But if we weaken them and we weaken somebody like Mons Johnson, Speaker Johnson, we run them into the ground and we give them the war fatigue that they've been giving us. And that's how you win, is put that on blast in just subtle different ways and just don't let it out of the cycle. And just throw out little explosions, just like they do. Just like they call Biden a hair sniffer. Rolling on. Which he might have been. Who knows? But no, he's pretty big. Just like they couldn't find his son's laptop, the mythological laptop. But anyway, that's all we have, folks. We're into March. It's actually March 12th to be exact. And we'll see you next week on March 19th for some more Two Queers in a Truck. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Bye, baby.
Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching. We appreciate your viewership and your listenership, as always. Check out our Facebook pages. Check out our other platforms. And if you ever want to see us live or on video, you can watch us on Facebook every single week. We drop new shows most weeks. And as always, we appreciate y'all listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo.